On Friday night, Keke Palmer and Sean Evans walked into Lucali, one of Brooklyn's most coveted Italian restaurants, sat down at a candlelit table, and spent 90 minutes completely locked in on each other. An eyewitness told TMZ that Evans looked, and I quote, smitten. The photos went to Dumois first, which tells you everything. Dumois is where you send something when you want it to circulate fast and everywhere. By the time TMZ confirmed the dinner with their own sourcing, the timeline was already in full meltdown mode. And anyone who has been following the Keke Palmer and Sean Evans situation for the last 3 years was sitting there like, finally? Because this dinner did not come out of nowhere. Sean Evans hosts Hot Ones, the interview show where celebrities eat increasingly spicy wings and have real unguarded conversations. Keke Palmer has appeared on it 3 times, and if you watch those 3 appearances in order, you're essentially watching a slow-motion romantic subplot develop in real time. Their first episode together was 2017. Good chemistry, nothing earth-shattering. The 2021 episode was more it. Then in late 2025, Keke came back for a 3rd appearance, and she walked in armed with information. She'd seen an interview Sean did on Chicken Shop Date with Amelia de Moldenberg, where de Moldenberg asked him point blank if he'd ever had a crush on a guest. He said yes. After de Moldenberg burned through several wrong guesses, he finally landed on Keke Palmer. Very charming, he said. A very charming woman. Keke watched that clip, reposted it on Instagram, and captioned it, "It was love at first hot wing. This was too kind." Then she showed up to the 2025 Hot Ones episode, fully prepared to do something about it. Midway through the episode, she looked at him and said, "I saw an interview where you said I was your favorite guest and all this really sweet stuff. I know we've just had some wings, but I thought that maybe we could just have a quick smooch to see if there's a spark." She kissed him before he could even fully process what was happening. He didn't hesitate for a second. Afterward, Evans said, "When I'm dying and my life flashes before my eyes, I'll have that snapshot," which is either the most romantic thing a man has ever said on a YouTube cooking show, or Sean Evans is simply the best quote machine alive. Probably both. Fans have been screaming about these two for years, and that moment sent them over the edge completely. Then came May 2026, just weeks before the dinner. Keke had Sean on her podcast. "Baby, this is Keke Palmer," and the introduction she gave him was anything but subtle. She walked him out to her audience and called him her potential future suitor. Sean sat there grinning about it for the entire episode. They spent the hour talking about their chemistry, revisiting the kiss, teasing a potential morning show together. At one point, Sean listed her qualities out loud. Charismatic, smart, beautiful. And Keke lit up like someone had just handed her flowers. She called it words of affirmation, one of the love languages, and the audience ran with it immediately. Then near the end of the episode, Keke's mom, Sharon, made a comment about their different Illinois hometowns. The guy from Crystal Lake should be sitting next to the girl from Robbins. Sean looked over and said, "Oh, I thought you were talking about us." Keke dissolved. "That was good, y'all. He's so damn quick. I love you too. You are the best."
Sweet mom. I love that. Shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Evans.
Sharon Palmer was fully Team Sean throughout that episode. She told him that watching him with her daughter was a great moment, which is as close to a parental cosign as you can get without filling out actual paperwork. 3 days before the Brooklyn dinner, Sean was at a FYC event and got asked about his favorite interview experiences on the record. His answer, "Working with Keke Palmer is always like a 1 + 1 = 3 situation."
Studio the first time.
Yep.
We did an episode during the
This one's got a
quarantine.
little sweetness
This got
to
a
it.
little sweetness.
He said that at a professional event to a reporter in June 2026, the man was not being coy about anything. And then June 12th, Lucali, Brooklyn, 90 minutes smitten. The eyewitness account TMZ sourced was specific. Sean was focused on Keke the entire dinner, attentive, engaged, completely locked in on the conversation. No PDA was reported, but whoever was watching that table felt very confident this was something beyond two content collaborators grabbing a quick bite. Fan reactions went exactly how you'd expect from a ship that's been sailing for 3 years. People who had been invested since the chicken shop date confession were in the comments acting like they'd personally arranged the whole thing. "I want them to get married," one fan wrote on X. Someone else called it the most wholesome they won't they of the year. Fair assessment, honestly. The backdrop to all of this is that Keke's last public relationship ended badly and very publicly. Her 2023 split from Darius Jackson after he called her out online over an outfit she wore to a Usher concert, played out in front of everyone and was genuinely messy.
Entered the picture.
I get that people feel like celebrities all know each other.
Since then, she's been deliberate about how she discusses her personal life. She told people in 2025 that she was more open to love than before, and that 2023 was the year she first learned to say no. Watching how she's handled the Sean Evans situation against that context, the gradual public teasing, the podcast intro, the slow build entirely on her own terms, it's clearly a woman who knows exactly what she's doing and is enjoying the pace of it. Soren's track record has its own layer. He was previously linked to Melissa Stratton, and they broke up on Valentine's Day in 2024, reportedly because the media attention overwhelmed the relationship. So he understands firsthand what happens when a personal situation becomes a public spectacle. Whether the deliberate, unhurried approach with Keke reflects something he learned from that experience, or just how these two naturally operate, is an open question. What's been consistently striking about this whole arc is the texture of it. Couples with managed rollouts look a very specific way. The timed paparazzi photo, the coordinated soft launch, the simultaneous Instagram story. This has had none of that from the beginning. Sean Evans admitted his crush on a British internet dating show because someone kept guessing wrong. Keke Palmer kissed him on camera because she felt like it. She introduced him to her podcast audience the way you'd introduce someone to your actual friends, with her mom in the room playing Twister. The whole thing has moved at the speed of two people genuinely figuring something out, rather than two publicists strategically timing a narrative. One exchange from the podcast that hasn't gotten nearly enough attention. When they were talking about the Hot Ones kiss, Keke said she thought viewers probably assumed it was scripted, because Evans didn't seem surprised at all. He answered, "I didn't give it a second to breathe. Once I heard the offer and the conditions, I immediately signed." He described a spontaneous on-camera kiss using contract language. Keke called him quick and told him she loved him in the same sentence. That 4-line exchange is basically the entire energy of the situation locked in one moment. Warm, playful, genuinely mutual, and completely impossible to dismiss as just a bit. One exchange from the podcast that hasn't gotten nearly enough attention. When they were talking about the Hot Ones kiss, Keke said she thought viewers probably assumed it was scripted because Evans didn't seem surprised at all. He answered, "I didn't give it a second to breathe. Once I heard the offer and the conditions, I immediately signed." He described a spontaneous on-camera kiss using contract language. Keke called him quick and told him she loved him in the same sentence. That 4-line exchange is basically the entire energy of this situation locked in one moment. Warm, playful, genuinely mutual, and completely impossible to dismiss as just a bit. Sharon Palmer showing up as a recurring presence throughout all of this is also worth noting. She was at the podcast. She ran the dating game segment. She made the Crystal Lake versus Robbins comment that triggered Evans' best line of the episode. Keke has spoken openly about how central family is to her personal decisions. So Sharon, being this visibly enthusiastic about Sean Evans in her daughter's space, in public, on the record, with an audience watching, carries weight. Sharon Palmer showing up as a recurring presence throughout all of this is also worth noting. She was at the podcast. She ran the dating game segment. She made the Crystal Lake versus Robbins comment that triggered Evan's best line of the episode. Keke has spoken openly about how central family is to her personal decisions. So Sharon, being this visibly enthusiastic about Sean Evans in her daughter's space, in public, on the record, with an audience watching, carries weight. Lucali as a location is its own small detail. It's not a see and be seen celebrity spot, it's intimate, the waitlist is real, and you go there for the dinner rather than for the room. Whoever picked it wasn't thinking about the optics of being photographed, they ended up in photos. Anyway, but nothing about the eyewitness account suggests either of them was performing for anyone in that restaurant. Hot One's audience. The longtime viewers who were there before the show became a mainstream cultural institution, has been watching this cake arc play out episode by episode across nearly a decade. They saw the 2021 chemistry in real time. They heard the chicken shop date confession when it dropped. They watched the 2025 Kiss episode get posted and go everywhere. For that specific audience, Friday's dinner wasn't a shock so much as a checkpoint. Something they've been tracking finally moved off camera. Keke has also been publicly vocal about being in a better place emotionally over the last year. At the Tribeca Festival, she said she was more open to love than she'd been before, and that she was ready to have fun again. That statement carried obvious weight coming after the Darius Jackson fallout. Viewed now, combined with everything that's happened with Sean Evans since, the kiss, the podcast, the dinner, it reads less like a general statement about her mindset and more like the beginning of a specific story that's still being written. What's also worth sitting with is just how long this has actually been building. The first Hot Ones episode between them was 2017. That's 9 years of professional proximity, scattered public moments, a chicken shop date confession, a kiss on camera, a podcast introduction as a potential future suitor, a FYC soundbite, and now a Friday night dinner. Timeline, when you map it out, is extraordinarily patient. Whatever this is, and officially it remains unconfirmed, it has had more runway than most actual celebrity relationships that got announced and were over within 18 months. Sean Evans is 40, Keke Palmer is 32. She has a 3-year-old son named Leotis. These are adults with full lives, public careers, and very clearly a mutual preference for letting things develop at their own speed rather than making announcements before they're ready. The audience has been reading signals and speculating since 2021, but the people at the center of it have never once moved faster than they wanted to. That patience, combined with the consistency of every public moment between them, feeling like a natural extension of the last one, rather than a calculated pivot, is probably why the audience reaction to the dinner photos ran toward warmth instead of cynicism.